person, look at the things that I'm doing, look at the people I surround myself with, and always strive for more. So can I welcome Phil to the
stage? All right. Can I just sort of not have the divided C right now? So if you just shuffle, if you do a right butt cheek flex, that'll sort of get you into the centre. So if you just do that. So yeah, and you might want to come around here a minute. Yeah, just going to grab your cheesel box there. Thanks. Well, we're in. So we're in the second week of a series. Welcome to you, those guys that are coming online. We appreciate you guys being with us. Second week. If you didn't get the first week, go back and have a look last week. Now, how many of you remember the three things that I left you with last week? Did you remember? Jeez, I must have been so good at what I spoke about last week. That's like no hands here, right? You know, oh, you're just so embarrassed to share. Remember? I talked about take a breath.
Oh, yeah.
And the second one was? Funny guy. Yeah. Take some time. What was the third one?
Take notes.
Yeah. Take some notes. Who said that? Good job. Yeah. So over this series, we want to help you. It was all about what does it mean to be a modern man, what does it mean to be a modern woman. And tonight, we're going to embark on an interesting topic that some of you, or a lot of you in the room, are going to have, and at home, are going to have varying feelings about. I have my own opinion about this, and I'm going to share some of those with you tonight. But again, anything that we talk about has to be filtered through your moral code. I grew up in a certain way, was educated a certain way, and have a certain set of values in my life that you can't force on someone else. Have you ever had someone force their values or their opinions on you in your life? Yeah. I've had it thousands of times. Thousands. People, you know, I shouldn't wear my hair that colour. I shouldn't wear those types of clothes. I shouldn't put on makeup. Awkward moment. You know, so whatever it is, somebody tries to force their sense of values on you. As you get older, and where you guys are right now, you are forming what you would call your set of values for the next part of your life. It doesn't mean they're going to remain the same, and some of them that you have grown up with in your family of origin will be challenged right now as you grow through high school and into uni and into work. Your values that you thought were so good back here have changed and altered as you grow older, and the people you hang around, you think, oh, I used to be really... I've got plenty of friends who, when they were younger, said to me they'd never smoke. They'd never do ciggies, right? And I said, oh, that's good standing. And most of them now, as they're in their 20s, have struggled with ciggies, you know. So what was this moral standing back then? And I remember them sometimes talking to some other friends going, why do you want to die? You know, when they were younger. Why do you want to die? You know, what do you mean? Well, you're smoking. I think you're going to die if you smoke, you know. That's what the packet says. And as they got older, they realised the people they hung out with, that influenced them a lot more than their moral code. So tonight, we're going to talk about the issue of, can you have an opposite sex friend without dating, without being romantically inclined? Now, if you're same-sex attracted, it's can you be going out with someone or be friends with someone of the same sex and not get lost in the moment of romance, you know? We're ready to dive into this one?
Yeah.
So, let me do a poll. So this is going to be statistics, fresh statistics from you lot here in the room tonight. How many of you believe that now let me clarify it so you're really clear on what I'm asking you, right? That you can have a friendship with someone of the opposite sex. Let's talk about opposite sex friendships right now. Opposite sex friendship without ever falling in love with them. Right now, just before you respond, right? Remember what I said. Remember what I said. Right? You have to think about it. I'm going to ask the girls first. Then I'm going to ask the boys. Now, girls, when I ask the boys, you're all to close your eyes, all right? Because no calling BS at this point, all right? So, yeah. All right? Now, you at home can do it too. I want you to argue amongst yourselves at home. If you're with your family members, I want you to ask yourselves this at home. So, here's the challenge. Can you have a non-relationship, kind of dating kind of journey with the opposite sex without it going into romance at any point? Now, girls, I want you with a show of hands say, now this has got to be your values, right? Say, yeah, I agree with that, right? So put your hand up. All right. That is almost unanimous. If you're voting at home, right, I want you to get online right now and I want you to send a message saying, I agree, I disagree, right? I want you to put it on. One of our guys is watching you right now, taking note of all the comments he's going to put on. I want you to say that from home. Right, now boys, men, all right? We're going to ask you. Now, women, this is not the point at which you look at the men and go, this is not that moment, because that means to a guy, I just got so rejected. All right, so this is how a man feels. Now, if you're a male in this room and you are just friends with the opposite sex and have never had a romantic inclination towards that woman or girl, whatever, female species, I want you to put your hand up now. You got a couple? Somebody in the room's got a couple. I don't know quite know what that means.
Just friends.
You got a couple of girls that are just friends.
Yeah.
And at no time have you looked at them and gone, "Meow."
Yeah.
Right, okay, yep. Good. Good. Men, ladies, these are the guys you want to date. All right? Just joking. Or they might be, but they're hot, whatever. But the reality is, for us to figure out, think through, is it possible? Let me ask you the next question. If you are in a relationship, a serious relationship, right? She's my world, or he's so hot. I mean, I think I've got my voices around the wrong way there. I knew this girl once that spoke like that. Anyway, her name was Rhonda, or maybe it was Ron. I don't quite know. Nobody ever knew because I never wanted to date her. But anyway, so the reality is, if you are in, you're at home, if you are in a serious relationship. Now you say to me, what is a serious relationship? 2 weeks. That's a serious relationship. So in love with him. I've been in love with him for like 30 days. So we're not talking about that moment where you get that urge down below and you think, ooh, he's so hot, right? I'm thinking about, it's not just a horny moment. It's not just a lust moment. It is.
Stop looking at me.
Yeah, stop looking at her. All 4 of you boys, stop looking at her. Hey? They're looking at you first. All right, let's get a bit of decorum right here. Now, I told you this series was going to be unusual. We haven't even begun yet. Right, so you are in a relationship with someone. Can't see anyone else anymore, just them. That moment where they are that dude or dudette, whichever, right? And you think, you go, yep. That person raises a question with you. They say to you, so your boyfriend or girlfriend or significant other says to you, I don't like the way you relate to her. I don't like the way you relate to her. I don't like the way you relate to him. Have any of you had that question?
I had that this morning.
All right, the camera is above her right now. Good. Yeah. We'll come back to that one because that's raw fish right there. Right. So, the challenge for us is simply, how many of you have been in a long-term relationship? You've got to wait until I ask the question because you might go, oh God, that's not me. Right. A long-term relationship and you have significant friendships with the opposite sex and that has created a problem. Yeah, most of the people in the room and you at home too, I can see that. Now, the challenge is, for most of you in the room, I know that they're arguing here in the room, so you must be arguing at home right now. And I'm not here to create arguing, but you can call our office and we'll deal with you and do some mediation. But, the challenge is simply this. You can go into a relationship, but there's a problem. A friendship. You can go into this relationship or have a relationship, and then the challenge is a lot of people nowadays are waiting in their life to actually commit to a significant individual, like getting married and going through that whole process. They're waiting till later. So what happens is you might have multiple boyfriends or girlfriends in your journey, and that person that you just have all of a sudden found your soulmate in. I remember speaking to a mum whose daughter was 9 years old, and she was in a sexual relationship with a slightly older guy, which is illegal, by the way. And I said to her, "Are you serious about what you're allowing your daughter to do?" This is serious. I swear to God, this is a situation I was dealing with years ago. And she said to me, "I want my daughter to be experienced by the time she finds the right guy." Now, I know some of you I just looked around the room there, and somebody went, "Oh my God, no." You know?
Yeah.
You know, you did that. You know? And others go, "Oh, are you serious?" Right. The issue is, again, it's not about judgment. Now, what I felt about that was a little rage, just a little bit, you know, at that moment. But the challenge was still that was the mum's moral compass. Regardless whether it was legal or illegal, she wanted her daughter to be experienced by the time she found that guy. And I said to her, how is she ever going to know that guy when he comes along? Because she just got the idea that she needs to experience before she gets to that guy.
What if one of them was that guy?
I know. Oh my God, so heartbroken. You know, so the challenge was, right, for all of us, is simply, as we get into relationships, because we wait and hold on and maybe experience several encounters over our journey, you will possibly have a friendship circle that comes with you into those relationships. When you form a relationship, let's say you're in your mid-20s, late 20s, and you've known people since you were in high school. You've been at the same primary school, high school, and you've brought this group through. They're your mates, they're your bros, they're your girls, you know, they're whatever they are, you brought them through with you, and into this relationship, into these friendships you go, and you find yourself having conflict between you and your significant other because you've formed these incredible bonds with these people. Is that a difficulty? Have any of you ever broken up a relationship because of a friendship? Most of the room, you know. So, anyone want to share a story? Very brave. Okay, I'll share one with you. Yeah, you want to share one?
Yeah, the relationship before this one, I was very close with one of my female friends, and I'm openly bisexual, and he was not aware, and we would hug a lot, because she was going through stuff, and then he was really clingy, and to me, and didn't like it when I hugged her, because of how I was, so I ended up dumping him, because my friendship with her was more important.
Did you say dump him?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, so.
That's your story. Good job. All right. So, the challenge for us is simply this.
Can I share something?
Yeah, sure, love. Go.
A friend of mine.
Yes. A friend of a friend. Uh-huh.
Yeah. She had this boyfriend for a very long time. No, not really, but yeah, for a while. And he was very, very, very overprotective and controlling over her. She had this guy friend. Those two were really close, and they always had been. And then he eventually said that they could sit next to each other in class, and that they couldn't keep talking, and that he would, if they did speak, he would make her say everything that she said to him and stuff like that, and that was insane. And I was there for the whole ride, and it was really not good. I don't like
Sad.
it.
A lot of friendships break down because of that. A lot of relationships break up because of opposite sex friendships. Now, let's go to science for a moment, because scientists have tried to work this one out. And I'm afraid, gentlemen, it's not good news for us. Women... Yeah, this is why I don't like science. Women can they have what they call this word called platonic. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
Platonic. Oh, if your parents might have said it to you, is this relationship platonic? And you go, is it you? Is it Saturn? Is it Mars? I don't know. You know. So big word.
You claim you're just friends, but you're really not.
Yeah, well, no, platonic means just that you are just friends, nothing else going on. Now, women have, and incredibly, the ability to actually get to a point in a friendship and go, "Ah!" and then the boy ends up in the friend zone! Everybody loves the friend zone! And all the women in the room all love that. You know why? That's like the big exit sign that says, "Ah! Friend zone you, bitch," you know, so whatever it is, we friend zone that person, and if you're a guy, what happens at that one point?
There's no coming back.
There's no coming back.
The door is open, you're going through,
Yeah.
the door closes, there's spikes at least 10 inches long.
10 inches long, slammed on your face, your face is in the door, it's all bad, you're looking very nasty. So, the challenge is, and we're going to clarify that in a moment, but for women, they have the ability to actually get to a point in a friendship where they can say, no, that's kind of where I'm sort of stopping that one. There are exceptions to every rule. Now, for men have a difficulty in this situation because we are and have not been educated well, men. Sad to say, our forefathers that have gone before us have not trained us, helped us, educated us well on how to actually have a platonic friendship with the opposite sex without something rising up from within us, you know, and forcing us to take this to another level. So what men do, this is a shame. It really is a shame that we have not been told how to control lust. We confuse it with love. Have you ever seen one of your mates, girls and guys, they have a few cordials and all of a sudden, alcohol, right? And all of a sudden, they love everyone. You know? I'm so loving you. And they're looking at a tree, you know? You're the best friend I've ever had, you know? So the challenge is, sometimes when we get alcohol involved or drugs involved or whatever, we lose sense of bearing. And so things happen. You know, have you ever had that where a guy might be drunk, or you might have found yourself in that situation where all of a sudden you've had a few too many and you've been taken advantage of? And that's a serious issue. Now the guy may or may not remember, the girl may or may not remember. And here's this unusual part, is most of the time women will report it, men will hardly ever report that they were taken advantage of in a certain situation. Because they think, well, you're a bloke. How could a chick ever take advantage of a man? It does happen. It does happen more than men will admit and more than we know. So be careful that you're not that gal or that guy, that you make a decision about love, you know, with somebody based on affected mind, with alcohol, drugs or anything else. The challenge for us men is simply this. We come from a situation where we don't know how to control our horniness at times, right? So that's your lust register, whatever you call it. You know, I don't care. If you like this or makes you feel uncomfortable, I'm going to give you the mail straight down the line. You need to be talking to healthy men about what it means to treat a woman right and what is the boundaries that need to be in place. Now, the difficulty about boundaries, and I've known from my own journey growing up and what have you, I was always a boundary pusher.
Yeah.
I was always the person, and I used to kind of, what you said then, I was always this kind of young person that was like, and even when I got into my late 20s and early 30s, I was always this guy that was like to be known as the person that was on the edge all the time. You know the problem with being on the edge? People get hurt. Either you get hurt or people get hurt. And it's not a good way to be. It's not a badass bloke. He's not a cool guy.
Exactly.
I know. The other thing is you could be a person, you could be the guy. Now girls, this is your problem right now, your challenge, is you could be the rebound guy. That's the best guy to be, isn't it? We all want that. That's sarcasm, by the way, you know. Because there's no depth in that rebound either. And you can say, oh yeah, I thought he was my rebound guy, but now he's my guy. He's my man. He's my dude. So, here's the challenge. Just because you are in a friendship with somebody of the opposite sex, a couple of tips for you. Right up front, be honest with yourself. Number one, be honest with yourself why you want this friendship to continue. Men, that's going to be harder for you. Because what you're saying is kind of what they call grooming. It's where you're saying what you think the girl wants them to hear, so you feel like, oh, she's going to be so in love with me by the time we finish this conversation at 3 a.m. The challenge for you women is don't lead men on. You have this unbelievable pheromone that exudes from women that men are naturally attracted to, or same sex, are attracted to this thing that women, you are meant to be that, by the way. You're meant to be magnetic, otherwise none of us would be here, just saying, you know what I mean? All right, so move on. So the challenge for us, for women, is that if you are not prepared to enter into a significant relationship with a chap or a person of the same sex, then do not lead them down that path to satisfy your own jollies, your own needs as a person. Because the fact is, we all have 4 needs. What are they? Love, James, what are they? Love, value, acceptance and belonging. We all have those needs. And let me tell you, again and again, I've been banging on about this for 20 years. If you do not satisfy it morally, you will be immoral. If you do not satisfy it legally, you'll be illegal. That's just how it is. It's a drive within the human nature to actually go after those 4 fundamental needs. The challenge for you is be a person of character. A woman of character, or a man of character. And that is hard work. Especially if you have got no frame of reference in which to draw from. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to show you some scenarios which some of you are going to laugh at, and some of you are going to say, oh my God, that was so me. Or awkward, that's me right now. You know, so we want to challenge you. Why? Because we want to give you the truth on what it is that causes so much heartache, so much confusion, and so much erosion of the other person. You got no question? Ask me.
I'm just gonna say that the way that you're saying it, it's like girl leading on guy. It can be like the complete opposite way around. Like.
Yes, I agree with you. I won't say your name. Her name is Mary. You know. No. I hear what you're saying. No, we're just protecting you from being on camera. All right. So the challenge is men can be absolutely the same way. I have been in the nightclub scene and it has not changed. If anything, it's got worse. You know. My boys have been through the nightclub scene, and when they come home and talk to me about the nightclub scene, I go, you know, it's frightening. And it's frightening because we're not honest about our moral brokenness, where we are as people, where we are as that we're needy. We are unbelievably needy people. Or maybe I'm the only one. Am I the only one in the room that's needy? Put your hands up if you're a needy person. Yeah. All right. All of us needy people get together. All right. So, the funny part is, that's what happens. What happens is one needy person gets with another person and then they're sussing them out. They're throwing out bait to see if that person's going to be enticed into their world or if they're really wanting. And then all of a sudden they say something or do something, you go, friend zone. Girls, boom, straight away. You know, they friend zone. Yeah, that's for later. You know, they friend zone, right, that. And boys are left hanging. And they probably look more like this. She loves me. She's so digging me. No, she doesn't, dude. Just saying. All right? So, men, it's important for you to have other men in your life, or even an older woman. I'm talking about like a mum that can talk to you at times about what does it mean to treat a woman with respect, or a significant other. A person is what we're talking about. It's difficult and it's complex. You know, there's bisexual and there's same-sex attraction. There's all kinds of stuff in our world right now that's so confusing at times for everybody involved. It's really important that you seek out some advice that helps you. If there's some stuff going on in your moral code that is kind of skewy, and it's probably good to get that thing sort of straightened up. So, in sort of bringing this night to the next bit, right, is I want to challenge you. Is men, males, you will always overestimate the intentions of a woman. We always will. Do you know what that means? That means we will misunderstand. Right? You will misunderstand what it means and the signals you get from women, and that could cause you a lot of pain. That doesn't mean you don't pursue a girl or a partner. It just means be careful on how you do that. Be cautious. Women, be careful of your signals, right, that you send out. Because see, you're a bit like a radar. Have you ever seen one of those movies where they've got a ship and they show you the radar and the thing's going around, zing, zing, the sonar, and it goes bing, and as it goes around, it's the machine that goes bing, right, and it goes bing. Right, women are constantly sending out this 360-degree signal all the time. Friendships, life, signals, you know, kids, little puppy, oh nice, you know. They're constantly sending out this signal, whereas the bloke tends to be a bit more like this, and they tend to be honed in on a species, right? Like, and it doesn't matter. They will go without food and sleep while they keep focus on you. That's how it is. It's meant to be kind of that way, but it's meant to be protected. So guys, I want to encourage you this week. If you're a person who is trying to figure out whether a relationship can be healthy or unhealthy of the opposite sex, then you need to first start with you and be honest about you. Be honest to you, because the reality is it involves somebody else or multiple people as you get older. It could affect entire families or communities with your need to be loved or your need to be accepted. Could it actually affect an entire group of people that could be broken because of that one decision that you make? It is a painful journey. So guys, I want to not sort of go, oh my God, but I want you to be sober and serious about when you're in a friendship with someone, even if they are the opposite sex. Men, for goodness sake, be clear about your intentions with that person the minute you get involved. And the minute your affections change, be honest at that point to yourself. And if it's not right, step back. Very difficult, because we tend to be led a lot by our lust more than our moral code at that point. And the same is for women. More so, it is very confusing for women these days. With all the signals and the messages that are out there about how you get love, it's become kind of a bit more like males, a bit more hunty. You know, we're kind of hunting for men. You know, looking for men or looking for a partner. It could be same sex, and you're looking for a partner and you're constantly sort of sending out these signals to see who's going to pick up my signal. Who's going to pick up my signal? And then what you do is you go hone in on, ooh, yeah, that one's good. Ooh, my friend zone, dude. You know, found out too much information, too much went too far, and then it's friend zone. Be careful. You'll see it in your families. You'll see it between your parents. You'll see it between grandparents. You'll see it between friends. You'll see this dynamic happening all the time. And you might be that person who's involved in that situation where you have great friends who are the opposite sex. So, first thing you do is be clear about you. Right? Just be clear about your intentions. I don't care what age you are, I could figure this out. The minute I sort of kicked into puberty, I figured this thing out. There was a scary girl back then, you know. So you can figure this out right from there. So if you're 12 and you're sitting in this room, you can figure this out. But develop a way to be able to treat somebody. And I can tell you what will happen. The minute you become that person that treats well, it will actually make you more attractive as a person. Because you'll actually have integrity. You'll actually have loyalty. And if you do have an opposite sex friend, there is going to be rumours. Because nobody believes that opposite sex people can have a friendship. They just don't believe it. I've seen it 1,000 times. I've experienced it myself. I've seen the disgusting things that people have said in my journey of 50 years. I've seen it. People that I trusted. People that I think, why would they even say that? Why would they even make that up? Because people are curious about other people's relationships in life. I always say, get a life. Get your own life, dude. There's not enough room for you in mine. Because you're not that person I want to be hanging out with. Why? Because I can't trust you anymore. You weren't loyal. You didn't protect what we had as a friendship. You just kind of treated it like dog turd, you know, that was wrapped up and thrown and discarded because you didn't value this enough. So, number one, be honest about you. Number two, be a person who just really values another person's feelings. And number three, be protective of your friends. I believe there are levels of fantastic friendships of opposite sex. I have learnt so much from friends of the opposite sex in my journey as a male, of even how not to treat women at times, or even how to maybe even speak to some of my male mates, you know. For men, just be honest with what goes on. You are, unfortunately, lust-driven first, optically driven, and then comes the mind. At that point, you kick in and you say, oh, she's got a great personality. Well, that's not usually the first thing that we say. It's usually something else. So, be true to you. Be that person that enters in to a friendship and protects those. And be honest about the relationships that you've got with other people. If you're in a relationship with someone, the best way to protect that relationship is be honest about the ones you've got that are the opposite sex. If at any point that changes, so if I'm dating, so Natty, come here for a second, darling. So if I'm dating Nat, and there's another person involved, let's say it was Taylor, you know, and I'm good mates with Taylor, we've been mates for 20 years, and I'm dating Nat, then I need to make sure that Nat knows about my friendship and my conversation with Taylor. And that'll protect it. We don't always get this one right. And it causes people a lot of pain because sometimes... You saw her do that, right? Yeah. She did that to you. So the challenge is, this can cause great pain if you don't get this one right. Involve them. This person, it would be a good idea, it's not a should, would be a good idea if they got to know that person well, got to know what their interests were, and maybe even went out and did some stuff together so they don't feel the threat. And they feel that because they can become great allies and great friends through that. But be honest with who you are, what you're about, and what you bring to this relationship, this friendship. You know, if you bring other friends of the opposite sex, that could create a tension. Just like what was said there before, this person might get extraordinarily jealous and protective, and before you know it, boom. There's no coming back. This relationship's over. Because you'll just never be trusted. Openness, transparency, and a willingness to understand that you bring people into. So Nat would bring her entire friendship circle into our relationship. I bring my entire friendship circle into our relationship, and some of those friendships are deeper than others, and she needs to be okay. Be protective of this. We don't always get this right. Sometimes it causes great pain. Thanks, Nat. You've been a great date. But you're my friend. Friend zone. So, guys, this week, be honest. That's all I'm asking you. Is all I'm sharing with you. Is just be honest about you first. You can't even think about, whether my boyfriend or my girlfriend or my significant other is going to like this person or not like this person if you're not honest in here first. Here. Out of the heart flows the issues of life. Not out of your mind, out of your heart. What goes on deep down here that nobody knows half the time. What goes on down in here in your soul at times. That's the stuff you want to get in touch with. If you're not clear about this in your packs tonight, maybe you could stop having fluffy conversations that are up here, and maybe you could go to a depth and saying, geez, I need to work on some stuff here. I need to work on some stuff that comes to here, and then I need to work on what comes out here. Because when it comes out of here, that's when it's going to affect somebody else's life. And for gentlemen, be careful about your physical touch. Just be careful how your physical touch. I know at Bridge Builders over the years, we've had many girls have come to us and said, I know we hug here at Bridge Builders, but when that guy hugs me, it kind of, that girls know that feeling, that kind of, moment. It's not that they're unattracted to you or that they even mind the hug, but as if you give a hug, come up here, I'm going to hug you, brother. Awesome. It's on camera too, baby. So we're going to hug. So I'll teach you how to hug, right? This is how you hug. Now what you don't do is you don't hug like this. Did you see what I did there? What did I do? No, but I've moved my hip in against his junk. So sorry about that, but I'm telling you. How you hug? You just keep your genitals to yourself, alright? If somebody wants them, trust me, you'll know, alright? So when you hug someone, you hug them. Oh, that's a beautiful hug. And when you hug someone, do not do this. I teach men this. This is important, men, if you're watching at home, for your sons too. When you hug a man, when you hug a bloke, don't do this. Good guy. That means you have no clue. Yeah, you have no clue where your emotions are right now in your journey. The day my sons helped me get that right was the day I started to figure out, oh man, I can be intimate with my boys and not be sexual. A girl would love to be hugged by a guy that had nothing else in it but just friendship and protection. That would be a cool guy. Girls, be careful.